Hey, Shelly here with the Gray Wren Nest. Boy, do I have a treat for you today. Today I'm going to share a magnetic idler bar for my QZone Queen rolling frame right behind me for long arm quilting. So stick around and I'll show you how. You won't want to miss this. My next DIY project is making an idle bar for my QZone Queen rolling frame for my quilting machine. It does not come with one, but I absolutely miss an idle bar. I purchased this at Lowe's. It is actually a closet curtain rod that's expandable, and it was $25, and it came with the hardware and everything. So for a $25, I think it was 120 inches because my frame is 110. I wanted to make sure I had enough, so I got the largest one I could find, and it is 72 to 120 inches. Project Source, standard duty, closet rod. And look at the weight. 15 pounds. Now it's not going to have any weight on it, but the reason I love it is it's solid. So I originally purchased these in the hardware store at Lowe's. Machine combo screws with nuts. And I originally bought a 2-inch. Don't ask me why I got 2-inch, but they were way too big. So I went back to the store and got a 1-inch. But this is the perfect size. It fits into the hole that's already there, and it works great. Let me show you how. So this is the 1-inch screw. I could probably even go shorter. Maybe 3/4 to a 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch might be too small. But then I had remember those weights from the beginning of the video? I had extras, and it fit perfect right there in that gap. And it has a little ledge for extra support for this to sit on. It's perfect. And it doesn't move because this is metal and this is metal, so there's a magnetic field there. So I just took the end of this. It came with this on here. This end is already part of this rod. It already has a hole right here. So I took the bottom screw out and I put this new screw with a nut in. And then the old screw, I just stored it down here so I didn't lose it. That's the old screw. But here's the back side of it. I just used the bottom. I used the bottom here, the bottom hole. So this bar is raised up. First I put it up real high. I put it to the highest position. So I know I can go a little bit higher, which is nice to know that I have a little wiggle room. But right now it is setting at the it's sitting at 1.5 right here. So I can go down to the 1 and raise this up another 1/2 inch if I have to. But that's the whole reason I want an idler bar, is so that I don't have to keep adjusting this arm here. My leader cloth will start, and then eventually my quilt will roll up under and then around the top bar. And, you know, that's quite a bit of space there, considering I'd have this space plus this space for a rolled piece of quilt. So that is a pretty substantial piece. If for some reason I had a piece that was bigger than that once it was rolled to the very last section of the quilt, And I needed to remove this bar because there's not enough room right here, which honestly, I don't think that's ever gonna happen. All I have to do is unscrew this and take it off. I'm gonna take this 0 tape that has a 0 in the center. I'm gonna find the center of my bar, and I'm going to put this on here like this, so it'll be permanent. And I have double-sided tape that I will probably use on the back of this, this soft measuring tape. There are 2 reasons that I wanted this bar. I already shared the first one with you so that my cloth would roll under and then up around the top bar. And I don't have to keep adjusting this rod here. But number 2 reason is, and it's even a bigger reason, I want to be able to measure my quilt. So I'll start at the center and center it up. And let's say the edge of the quilt comes to right here. I could easily mark it with one of these if I had some extras. I could set my thing right there, and this would be my edge. So the edge of my quilt, every time I roll it and unroll it, this is my guide. You know, some of you may have trouble keeping your quilt straight as you quilt it. Wonderful way. But another reason, if let's say I used all of these on my quilt, I can take a dry erase marker or a washable marker, and I could draw a line right here, and then a wet wipe will just take it off. So this could be my mark to keep my quilt straight. Aha. That's one of the main reasons I wanted it, because I don't mind really putting this up and down. Well, I do, but that was not my primary reason. The primary reason for me, truly, is to get my 0 tape measuring tape on here and keep marking my quilt so that I have a straight quilt when I get to the bottom. There'll be a straight line here. So here I have my 0 tape measure face down, and I know that the center of it is the 72 mark here. I have 1/4 inch double-sided tape right here, and I started it in the center and worked my way down. And I just put it at the top of the letter, or top of the numbers here. And then I started here and I worked my way down. And my quilt frame, I went down to about 4 feet on each side. So I'm getting ready to put it up on the bar. So I find my center here, and I'm going to work my way down this side first. So I'm just going to shift this down. And on my leader cloth, the center line ironed on here that you can see, or at least I can see it. Okay, so I'm just pulling the top tape off, and you can see that the tape is still on there. And then I'm going to take my center. Oh, I gotta go that direction first because of the way it, here, let me do the other side. I'm lining it up with the ironed crease, and I do think it'll be easier to do it this way. I'll just work my way down. And then I clip off my ends. And there you have it. I love this setup. I am so pleased. Once again, this is a QZone Queen rolling frame, a 2-bar, and it was free with my 16X Elite long arm. So I certainly can't complain about that. And I did miss the idle bar. So I just made it myself because they don't make them for the QZone. So I know that there are lots of videos out there on using tension rods, but I was not successful because it would always sag right here in the middle. And this one, the closet rod, is not sagging. And it came with the ends to screw in. Doesn't get much easier than that. I hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.